We are back. The old ladies first panel is back for another interview. And I am so excited to have one of my faves on the old ladies first panel. I feel like, again, right? You've been here before, right?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, I forget. It's been so long. I do so
Mhm.
much. Anyway, y'all, without any further ado, the old ladies first panel interviewing Winter Harris. Oh, wait, girl, messed up. And we're fixed. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are here with Winter. Winter, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
through.
Yay, I'm excited to be back. We were doing a little virtual musical chairs there, but we back.
Yeah,
Yes.
we are.
We are
We're
back. Happy
back.
Mother's Day to all
Thank
of you. I love you all so much. And I know you all are amazing mothers. Nisi with her very first. Okay. Jamie with her first new baby in a long time.
Okay.
you.
Okay. And the mother of four. Okay. Listen, happy Mother's Day, y'all. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
y'all. Even if y'all are not my mothers, I love y'all. So thank y'all.
Love
Okay.
you.
So we have a interesting interview. Winter is no longer contractually obligated, and I am excited. So let's go ahead and get into the thing.
When you say it like that gets me excited.
It's
What?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know, right? Anything, it seems like anything
Contractually.
goes.
listen,
Oh, goodness.
Jamie, kick it off, girl.
Let's go ahead and hop into it. So let us know, what was it like being on Love and Marriage DC?
So we'll start with the positive. It was not all bad. I do want to lead with that because it's important. And I'm not bitter about my experience. It happened. I agreed to do it. That's an experience I'll always be able to say that I had. And I am grateful for what it contributed to my life. I wouldn't know you ladies without being a part of Love and Marriage DC. But, you grow, you learn, you participate, you involve yourself in these experiences, and then you make decisions that are best for you. And
Mhm.
so, with the positive, and I've met some interesting people, had some interesting experiences that I'll never have again, hopefully, fingers crossed. But on the flip side of that, on the flip side, it is toxic. And I think
Mhm.
people are alarmed or triggered when I use that word, but by definition, that's what you're in. You're in a toxic environment. You're not in any other situation normally that you would be confronted by people you don't normally mess with or that you're at odds with. You're not normally in situations where people are allowed to verbally abuse you, mentally abuse you, emotionally abuse you. Like, that's not normal. Yet you're put in those situations quite frequently when you're a part of situations or experiences like this. And so for me, I honestly had a horrible reunion. It was horrible. That's just the truth. And I made the decision to come back after a discussion with a higher up and some higher ups that said, hey, you'll get an opportunity to correct some things. It won't be that way if you come back. You believe, I feel like it's the typical thing you hear if you're dating someone that's abusive. I promise you I won't do it again.
Mm.
Only to be backhanded maybe 2 months later after good behavior. And
Mm.
that's what I feel like I experienced. So I went back thinking that things would be different. Yet, same song, same BS. And it's like, I can do bad all by myself. I don't want to be famous that bad. I don't want to be on TV that bad. It's time to go. And that's the decision I made. So, what was it like? It was like living in a pressure cooker. You
Hmm.
never know when that lid is going to pop off.
Mm.
Mm.
How long did y'all film for? How long did you feel like you were in a pressure cooker?
So season 1 we filmed for 4 months, no, 3 months. We filmed for 3 months season 1, and we filmed for 6 months straight, season 2 and season 3. It was all, even though it's broken up in 2 and 3, it's filmed over 6 months straight. So people, love to say, well, why did Winter come back for a third season? I didn't. Y'all looking at something we filmed over 6 months. It's just split up into two.
Mm.
So 6 months pressure cooker.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just craziness. And you can't control. There's nothing you can do to control what will or won't happen. This is where I say reality TV is manufactured reality.
So wait. Just to be clear, because child, I've been drinking. So you mean to tell me that all of what we have seen from you guys is over 6 months?
Correct. From
Mm.
October 2022 until March 2023.
And that was 2 seasons.
Mhm.
Season 1 and 2. That's what
Mhm.
you're saying?
Yes. I had to be sure before
Oh, I
Wow.
missed it. I was just thinking it was season 2. So
so it's
season
not just 6 months
1.
I've been drinking. Okay.
So no,
Wait.
it's season 1, and then this is called season 2 and season 3. But season 2 and season 3 is over a 6-month span.
Okay,
There's
got
no
it.
break.
So what was season 3?
What we just saw, what just ended.
Which was only season 2,
Correct.
essentially.
2B.
Technically, yeah, it took a whole
Season
year.
2B. Correct.
Mhm.
Wow. And of course we've already covered, shout out to Queen Sheba, that's so they don't have to pay y'all for
Mhm.
upgrades and seasons.
Well,
'Cause
it's
you would get paid more
negotiation.
each season if you were
Correct.
negotiating. Exactly. But
Yeah.
if I keep it all the same season and then just release it separately, then I don't have
Mhm.
to pay you guys more based on if your season did well or not.
Or
Yep.
you can't just, I mean, at the end of each season, you can renegotiate. That's typically how it happens. Every
Mhm.
season, you enter a new negotiation period.
But that's
But
not what
I
they did.
actually, no, I actually asked, like, hey, we started.
That's funny because I feel like I have been pointing out for a while that shows on OWN don't number correctly when it comes to season and episode. And I thought it
Mm-mm.
was just like some careless like error. But no, it seems as if y'all have been doing that to Iyanla Van Zant
Intentional.
for years. So
You're
you
Ready
wouldn't
to
have
Love
to hear
too.
more. Ready
Oh,
to
they
Love.
do that already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
on Ready to Love.
I noticed it with Iyanla when Iyanla used to do Fix My Life, how the seasons were never numbered correctly, and I would have
Mhm.
to number based on who the person was or what the episode was titled versus the actual number because it would be different from cable versus OWN's website. So that seems to be your own practice, but we're not even
So
going to really get into that.
so for me, and I tried to clarify this because people swear up and down that we get our paychecks from OWN. That's not true.
No,
I
you
have
have to picture from the production company and OWN
correct.
pays the production company. Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
I had no
So I'm
idea.
like,
Mhm.
that's not our pay dispenser. However, I said this is my opinion because I know when I tried to renegotiate, I was told, no, you're still in season 1.
Will you get any like residuals for anything moving forward
For whom?
for the seasons 1 through 3?
This is not done. These contracts are not done. Like
On the back end,
no,
it's
this
only for what you
syndicated.
film.
Right.
And not even what you
So,
film, what actually makes episode, correct? Like, so how many episodes you're actually edited into versus what you actually film.
and that's
Right.
how you're paid. You
Mhm.
don't get paid unless you get greenlit for a scene. Your scene has to be
Ooh.
A part of the
actually
episode that airs
correct.
in order for you to get paid for it. So you could film, like they do this all the time, and I've noticed this since Real Housewives of Atlanta days that they would film someone, and if they decided to edit them out, they didn't necessarily have to get paid because you get paid per episode that airs, not per episode you film.
That's
And
absolutely correct.
I think that's what they did with Nene in her last season, which was the big fit.
Exactly.
She agreed to however many and was only featured in X amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what they do.
Mm.
So yeah, I literally like I said, that's my opinion because again, I was in the situation and that's what I was told. No, you're still technically in season 1. You'll have to wait till we move until season 2. And I'm like, that
Mm.
don't really add up. This is an awful lot of work. And people don't understand. I moved from friend of to main.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really want to work under my friend.
Mm.
Pay.
So let me ask you this. Did you have a producer? Because we saw in Love and Marriage Huntsville that everybody gets a producer. Did you have a producer?
I sure do.
Who,
Actually,
who was your
so
producer?
I had, so I don't know if I can say her name. I had a woman my first season and I had a man my second season. How they do producers is that friend ofs have a certain producer, and then main that are women have a certain producer, and then main that are men have a certain producer. So the men have a man producer, the women have a woman producer, and then the friends of the show have a producer. That's how they separate it. So,
Okay. So
yes.
what was your relationship like with your producers?
So I've been waiting for somebody to ask me this question since the whole foolery on Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Mhm.
Oh, so I had a situation that happened to me, and I learned I could not trust my producer.
Mm.
So people don't understand with producers. Yes, they are told to stay very close to us. They call and ask us, woo, how was things after the scene? What's going on with you? Can you catch me up with things that are happening in your life? So you divulge and tell a lot. My producer, season 1, took something I said that she was like, no, it's between me and you. Like, you ain't got to worry. And it popped up in a later scene. I said, oh, okay. I learned by that. Yes, they are close to us, but they still work for that production company and they have a job to do, which is to get as much juicy information out of you so they can use it to help mold the storyline. And they all have a meeting where they swap this information. So the producer of somebody that might be your opponent can go back and be like, hey, ask Winter about this, or did you know that about this? Is how you get chaotic and crazy scenes. So if you don't know that your producer works for somebody, which you should, but a lot of people become friendly, maybe too familiar, maybe they become friends, and you start to divulge like normally you're not remembering, hey, that information is still being shared. They're still going to go back and have these team meetings, and whatever you say is going to, I think it's foul, because I think there should be a code of ethics. And you have to understand that sometimes we share very personal things and it just shouldn't be done. The fact that that is, I couldn't imagine being on the same show as a producer who screwed my man, that I talked to her about, that I confided in her about, that she knows very personal details about. And now you mean to tell me it's okay that I work alongside her? That sounds like a hostile work environment. Because then you say something crazy, and then I react out of that, out of my humanness. Now I'm the crazy looking one. It's just
And this is why Carlos was circling his chair when he brought Sonny and Moses out onto the tour, because he knew the type of energy this could create.
Mari show.
Maury.
I just think it's quite trifling when you really think about it. That's like confiding in somebody at work, or confiding in a superior or a manager, and you found out that they have told the office.
It kind of sounds more like confiding in HR. You know, HR work for the company.
Right.
Truth.
Literally, that's exactly what it sounds like.
That's
You
what
don't know that at first. You don't know that. You think
Right.
they're there to protect you and the company, but essentially, you're the
Exactly.
assistant of the company.
correct.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's a lot messier than people give it credit for. Like it's messy to the nth degree. And I don't, all the backstory about that doesn't matter to me. It's literally just look at the relationship in and of itself is what is foul.
So knowing all that, how do you feel about Carlos as an EP?
So I think everyone has been well, I won't say everyone because some people still like to kiss butt. But anyway, I know a couple of us, a few of us have been vocal. He's not all that involved. Like there's no situation where we're talking to him on a regular basis. I don't even have his contact information. Some of us do, some of us don't. So I would say that he's more hands off. And for me, because of the situations that I've been through on this cast, I would have preferred for him to be more involved, because I think a lot of the toxic situations could have been stopped sooner versus them just playing out because you're not involved enough.
You don't think you would have let him play out?
No, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because he was in our area this weekend. And I believe it was with the sole intention to forge an intervention and a rekindling.
Between you and
between everybody. I mean, our
everybody.
whole cast was disjointed and beefing and fighting. So didn't this have to happen with another cast? An intervention?
It did. I directly remember people flying down to Huntsville to bring everybody together. And then specifically in the last episode when Mel was doing all of that pump faking with Carlos, she said, "Oh, whenever you come down together, everybody gets together." So everybody can be checked and reminded that if they want to be on a reality show, they need to act like they want to be on a reality show, Scots.
Yeah. I believe that was the reason for things moving forward.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned it on Queen Sheba, but can you tell us again what you actually made, like per episode, like how much you were getting paid, but also let us know what you think you should have been getting paid?
I said I can't contractually, like I literally can't give a direct number despite not being connected to the show anymore. I said not more than 2,500. And I think people got so hung up on that 2,500 that they think that's what I said we made. I said not more than.
To be clear, that's been the number for years when it comes to like Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop, they used to be like, "Oh, you get $2,500 an episode." That's how they would talk. I want you to specify. Are we talking about per episode, or are we talking about for the season? I'm sorry, the 6 months that you filmed as a whole?
We're talking about per episode, but that is their number. I didn't say that was our number.
Your number.
I can't give specific.
So what's the minimum?
I know that you can be offered as little as $250.
$250.
Correct.
Wow.
To put your whole life on blast?
That's crazy work. That's nasty work. What do you think that you should have been getting paid?
At least $5,000. At least $5,000. This should replace for what? So people don't understand, and people like to say, "Well, you signed up for it." Well, I consider this because I know I'm not getting as much a marketing budget. Okay. This is my marketing budget. This is my opportunity to market my brand on a larger scale, a larger platform. But we got to count in the fact that we are exposing our life to the general public. We are divulging a lot of personal information that we would not normally divulge to the general public. We are now subject to public scrutiny against things that may or may not be true or manufactured. We are working anywhere between 2 to 10-hour days, depending on the scene. You are working in addition to your regular job, especially if you ain't got it like that, 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week you're filming.
For 6 months.
For 6 months.
For possibly $250.
For possibly $250.
I'm disgusted.
Especially
so Jamie was doing all that for 200. Let me stop.
Who?
Jamie was doing all of that for $250.
I mean, he was working overtime on social media too.
Well, he calls himself, he was promoting the show.
But also he and Arena have a TikTok. So anything they did for the show was to extend the amount of money they were probably able to make on TikTok. And if you know what I know, child, TikTok is cool, but they don't be making no money like YouTubers. So
no, it's not the thing, but that's the thing. So people got hung up on that 25, and I said I didn't say that was what we made. I said not more than, and I also said that Monique made the most. But it's anywhere between 250 and 2,500. That's a broad range. Somebody could have been making 500. Somebody could have been making 1,000. Somebody could have been making 1,500.
And either way, that would not have been enough in comparison to what you risk.
No,
because to be clear, Love and Marriage. Okay, so Love and Marriage, outside of whether it's Huntsville or DC or that other one that has not been heard of since,
Oh yeah.
you put your life on blast in a way that makes people who have nothing else to do decide they want to take special interest in you based on however they feel about you on a show. So
Correct.
that means if they feel like putting anything that is any, people in your real life don't look you up in the same manner if they don't feel like they have to.
Correct.
So when you come to Real House, I mean, sorry, not Real Housewife, because I know that's so badly what they want. Love and Marriage, Huntsville, baby. Love and Marriage Huntsville has a specific group of fans that I feel like would do a lot to damage someone if they don't like them. So it's a huge risk when you're coming on this show. So you should be being paid adequately, just in case you lose your job or your main form of
That part,
income
yes.
based off this show.
Correct.
So the fact that y'all are not being paid enough to offset what you might have been paid beforehand, yeah, I feel like that's
Come
not cool.
You preaching. And I will
Mhm.
say, you can't compare our show to Huntsville. They certainly make more money than we do, but they also have been on for 6, 7, 8 seasons. And they also have been known to be the #1 show on the network. So yes, they make more than us now. I'm sure they started lower than us before, but I mean, it's just
Okay,
the truth. They may not like that it's out there, but it's the truth. Like I don't know.
we hear you and we believe you because we know what people get
Oh,
paid for
absolutely.
reality shows versus what they pretend. So to switch gears for a second,
Mhm.
based on Love and Marriage DC, the last of what was filmed, the second season reunion show,
Mhm.
not what, but who do you think was the main issue on the last season of Love and Marriage DC?
Who do I think was the issue? I don't want to say it's a who, it's a what. And that what was social media.
Hmm. Now we know
Hmm.
that happens with Love and Marriage Huntsville, but why do you think that happened with Love and Marriage DC?
Because we had such a gap. So a lot of what should have been filmed has played out on social media.
Jamie.
The show as it is doesn't reflect where we are as a cast, and it hasn't reflected it in over a year.
So
So
are you saying that you and Ashley are no longer cool? Because the last time I checked, when I look at the reunion show, as much as they try to, and this might be because I do have slight background information, but to me, based on the reunion show, it seems as if you and Ashley and Quick are cool. Um, Not so much Arena and her husband, and definitely not Joy and Clifton. But you are cool with Sherelle, shout out to Roxanne and Black.
So, what's interesting about how this season is filmed is that you just detailed how they edited. So, during that entire 6 months, I'm cool with everybody. There's not anybody I'm not cool with. Clear up until the reunion, there's not anybody I'm not cool with. It's the way they edited. As it stands today, because that reunion was 10 months ago, 9 months ago. That's how crazy to be. Like 9 months ago. There's a lot of life that's happening between now and 9 months ago, 10 months ago. We're already in May. August will be here in a couple of months, 2 months, 3 months. We filmed that in August of last year. As it stands today, I'm not cool with the Tylers. I'm still cool with the Silvas. That hasn't changed. I haven't seen Black and Sherelle. They've taken a whole hiatus from life. They got personal stuff going on. And I legitimately just don't really know the Petties.
Right.
It's as it's always been. So yeah, it's unfortunate. And the fans will never know it because I ain't coming back. Unless they want to like make me an imaginary cast member, and that's what they want to make the topic of they show because they ain't got nothing else better to talk about. But
I can see that.
hopefully they drop talking about me altogether. I don't have to be a part
If they return, right?
if they get another season.
Okay. So that's what I was wondering. You mentioned social media as the what. And during that whole break, I saw Ashley making a lot of comments on the show. I saw Jamie actually arguing with viewers and making comments towards you and Ashley. So what exactly happened with the Tylers? Because like you mentioned, when I watched the show, it didn't seem to me like you were beefing with anybody directly, but it was a lot of smoke on social media. So can you fill in the gap as far as what happened with the Tylers?
So it's for me, the issue is that I didn't pick their side. They
And
were
when it came
already
to,
beefing with the Silvas.
okay.
And me being in the middle, I needed to pick a side. I refused. I never chose the Silvas. I never chose them. But in their mind, by default, then, since I didn't pick a side, I chose the Silvas. You can't say because we don't hang out that I chose them, because I don't see Ashley that often. People don't know this, but I literally live the furthest away from everyone. They live in Maryland. I live on the other side of the DMV, and I'm talking like an hour and 15 minutes away. We in two completely different. I ain't gonna see nobody. I'm not gonna run into the grocery store. It ain't gonna happen. So I'm not gonna pick a side over something that I feel like has nothing to do with me. That's y'all issue, and I think it's petty anyway. So it became super toxic when Ashley and I made the decision to review the show on YouTube to give people context, because our show ain't been on in almost a year. There's a lot that's happened in a year. When that happened, he turned up the heat on social media. And I
Interesting.
think he saw both of us doing it together as a threat.
Probably so.
That's quite a force. You're not just taking any random people from our show doing a recap. You literally take two of the strongest people on the show to do a recap. That's a lot. And he knew it would begin to influence fan opinion when he had been working overtime all this time to put the fans on a certain track, which was anti-Ashley. And it's literally just petty and juvenile. I don't know any other man that works as hard to target women.
I don't think that was fair of the Tylers to make you choose, because then Ashley sit down with Irena and wanted her to choose when it came down to her and Joy. And she was like, no, I'm not getting in the middle of that. Like, I like both of y'all equally. Well, that's a bit unfair. Speaking of Joy, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, there's a lot of long-term memory loss. Like, I feel like people, how soon we forget. It's cool when you do it, but it's a problem when I do it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Joy, Clifton, and Carmen. I want to say Carmen. Carmen, what do you think of that? Like, what you thought was going on with them? You really think there was a throuple? What are your thoughts about that?
No, I never thought they were a throuple. I will say that it was inappropriate, and I say that because I have seen them outside of the show. And if anyone is willing to be honest, they will say that a majority of the time out in our area, you hardly ever saw Clifton and Joy together. It was always Carmen and Clifton. Even clear up until after the reunion. This is after she done poured her heart out. This is after we done seen her individual surprise confessional that nobody knew about, including Clifton. We're seeing this for the first time on the stage. And they say, hey, we got a surprise clip for y'all. So y'all are seeing our reactions real time. I think Clifton was blindsided. So I think his lack of reaction is because he really didn't know that happened. And I'm going to be honest, in Joy's defense, I don't know that she knew that they were going to air it at the reunion. I really don't.
I don't think so either.
So all that to say, that was mid-August on the 14th. See, I try to keep notes in because people lie. So on the 14th, 3 days later, on the 17th, there is an event. Carmen does an event for a local, well, he's not local. He's a former NFL player. She does an event for him. My boyfriend, like my current boyfriend, is at an event that Joy is at. I'm at the event that Carmen and Clifton are at. Literally, my boyfriend messages me and says, hey, I read, Joy says hi. And he sends me a picture of him and Joy. And I said, oh, tell her I said, hey, I'm here with Carmen and Clifton. He literally writes me back and said, she said, I bet you are. So for me, literally that indicates, and I already know this, Joy and I have had a conversation because I told Joy I didn't agree with how Carmen sat her tail up there at Jamie's retirement party and talked about her feelings towards Joy when Joy was already there. She left early. So you mean to tell me you just thought this was an opportune time to talk about your friend when your friend was here and you could have confronted her yourself? You could have followed her right on out and had the cameras go with you to say, hey, we need to talk before you leave. But yet you wait until she leaves.
So to be clear,
because
this is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel as if Clifton and Carmen have a romantic relationship and that Joy is on the outside of that?
I don't feel like they have a romantic relationship. I feel like they got closer than Joy and Clifton did.
But Joy and Clifton are married.
Right.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If you feel like this person has your back, they're going to bat for you. They're helping you grow your business. You confide in them. Then.
And so you think that Carmen, as a woman, is doing this for Clifton and she's not romantically interested in him?
I feel like they care very deeply for each other. I've been around them a lot because I'm telling you, like, people can lie, people can pretend. I'm not on the show. I don't have a reason to play up anything for the camera. Ain't no camera around. I'm telling you, literally, we always saw Carmen and Clifton together. They were very tight. Now, when Joy and Carmen were cool, you saw all three of them. But when they fell out, he kept hanging with Carmen. But they confided in each other. I'm going to tell you how close they are. I told Joy, hey, I didn't agree because Joy and I went karaoke together. This was like June or July of last year. I keep receipts. I got footage and everything, not because I have to, but people lie. So it happened. When Joy and I went out, we talked about that situation. I said, Joy, I didn't agree with what Carmen did. I felt like it was messy and it was unnecessary because she said it to a group of people who don't like her like that. Why are you trying to do the most and impress us, boo-boo? A lot of people don't like you. So it's you telling us information we really don't need to know. You should have talked to Joy. I said, I didn't like it. I didn't agree with it. I didn't think anything else of it. I gave my honest opinion. I go on with my life. I didn't even know that it was 48 hours later. Carmen called me. And she said, Clifton told me what you said to Joy.
Oh, wow.
And what
Not
did you
Joy.
think?
Clifton told her.
Clifton told her. Because Joy went back and told Clifton what I said. And Clifton told Carmen what I said. And Carmen called me.
So,
trying.
Can I backtrack right quick? Do you remember in that scene when you asked her, like, you know, I think whoever party it was Joy's party. You asked her something about their dynamic, and she then said, I know you're not asking.
Yes.
What was that about?
So it's interesting. She did an interview with Carlos. And Carlos just really thought Carmen was about to give him some tea on me. Carmen don't know me like that. Furthermore, I don't run the streets. So she came at me in that scene because she didn't want to come for Ashley.
Because she was kissing Ashley's ass. She was like, you're the head bitch of the group. And Ashley was like, I'm glad you know.
Right. So she thinks that I'm the weakest link. Now, they cut out all my confessionals because they asked me about that. And I said, Carmen better settle her little blue eyes down.
Okay.
Because check my track record. I am not the one. But I decided to mind my business and go light on her because I'm making amends this season. They didn't air that part. So it made it seem like she was coming at me. You don't want to do that. Let's go. Carmen.
Yeah.
No.
So what is your relationship like at this point with the cast?
I don't talk to any of them. I talk to Ashley, and that's because Ashley and I have a relationship outside of the show. Our boyfriends are cool. They do business together.
Your boyfriend?
I know.
Or not boyfriend, sorry. Her husband, my boyfriend.
Oh,
no, it's quick. It's quick.
Please clarify.
Clarification was needed.
I think that's what she mean, but
her husband.
Ooh.
Her husband, my boyfriend, they do business together.
Girl,
So
they
we
gonna
have
be mad at you that you made that accident, child. We gonna put this out and they gonna be like, Ashley was trying to make it seem like Ashley cheating on
a
Winter trying to make
boyfriend.
it
It's her
excellent too.
husband. Oh Lord. But
And your
anyway,
big head husband. It's okay. We
right.
know it's you quick. It's okay.
It's quick. So they have a relationship, and they had a relationship before he and I ever started dating. So
Mhm.
we have a reason to stay connected. Other than that, I don't really see anyone else. And I'm gonna be honest, Carmen and I live in the same area. Her and I were cool until I felt like she threw me under the bus to save herself with the whole Tyler and preacher dynamic. And I don't deal with people that throw people under the bus to save themselves when you know the truth of something.
What's the Tyler and Preacher dynamic?
So there was an interview that I did that told the truth about a conversation I had with Arena, and we
The
talked
man, the
about a
man that
preacher.
Arena was allegedly moving around with.
Boom.
He
And
Okay.
now
so
that's what the preacher alleged. That's what he claimed. I never said she was guilty. I literally just recanted that conversation to her. Now, this is 2 years ago. It's really super old. Moving forward, doesn't matter. It comes up again. I divulged that conversation that her and I had before a scene because she lied about what we actually talked about. I corrected it. So I said, listen, if you'll just tell the truth, I don't have to tell the truth. But because you told a lie, now I got to tell the truth. Just stop lying and we don't have any problems. Anyway, they got mad at me for bringing it up on another platform. And so they go and find out who the preacher is because somebody released his photo. They thought I did it. I did not. And thankfully, another blogger said, I can confirm Winter did not release that photo. I'm like, I know I didn't do it. I could have blasted that a long time ago. There's
okay,
no
hold
reason
up.
to.
I need you to specify a YouTuber or a blogger. Because I feel like there's some confusion about what these two things are.
A blogger.
Okay.
A blogger. So she said, I can confirm Winter didn't release. I was like, I know I didn't. It don't even matter. From that point forward, Jamie went and recorded a conversation he had with this preacher where the preacher says, I was being messy. He never said Arena. He said Arena's daughter, Brittany. Now, I have never been diagnosed hard of hearing. I don't wear a hearing aid. It ain't no way on this God green earth that I would ever confuse Brittany with Arena. And I also would offer to people a few other details that are important. Mm-hmm. Why would you bring up her daughter when no one has asked you about her daughter? And why would you bring up her daughter when her daughter is not present? She wasn't there that day. Nobody asked you. We didn't even know you knew the Tylers. You volunteered this information. And you mean to tell me that I misheard Brittany over a ring? It just, the math ain't mathing, but it's cool. I do understand why he would lie and change his story, because if you're confronted by somebody's husband and you're talking about their wife in this way, I wouldn't have said it either. That don't mean Winter is lying. It does mean that you scared and would change your story. Carmen knows that I told the truth. And yet when she was confronted by Jamie, she didn't tell the truth. And she decided to say, I don't know anything. And she played dumb. Okay, say less. It's cool. You gotta keep things cool with your potential future castmates, because we all know you're trying to get on this show.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Trying to get in where she fits in for sure.
That
For
part.
sure.
That's why she was willing to sell Joy out.
To sell Joy out for what?
Meaning when she was willing to talk bad about Joy to y'all.
Oh, yes. That so thank you, Bondy. I'm glad you said that. So if people pay attention, that's a reality TV chess move, power move. You got to be willing to go for the juggler in some instances so you can make yourself a factor. So
and also,
oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm just saying you can't have all these issues with potential castmates, because all your potential castmates have to say is, I don't want to film with her.
Unless you have the side of the network on. And then if you on the side of the network, they gotta film with you.
Well, people wonder why is Winter back? I said, don't get it twisted. Everybody was told winter was coming back, whether they liked it or not. That was a network decision. Didn't matter who
And they
wanted to
needed
film with
you.
me. Huh?
They needed you.
They did.
They didn't have an option. They didn't want to film with me. Even I remember talking to Monique and Chris, and they were like, wait, you going back? Because we were told nobody wanted to film with you. Somebody want to be, if they want to be on TV, they gonna film. Because that was a condition.
Based on how that first season went, there was no show if Monique and her husband left and you left.
Correct.
There was no show. So what else are we gonna do if y'all don't have new people to bring in? And Sherelle and Black Block was not good enough. I'm sorry. Like, we saw how they were only in there for 2 minutes, and then whoever didn't want to film with them were able to ostracize them. So yeah, you. I mean, I know that the only reason I came back the second season is because of my relationship with you. I was like, okay, the only reason I'm gonna watch this shit is because I like winter. So
yeah, people get real confused when they don't understand that underneath all of this perceived reality is a business. And under no circumstances are you telling a company who your coworker is or is not.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way.
Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm sorry.
No, literally.
Let's talk. Don't work that way.
Let's talk about Ashley.
Okay.
One of the first things I saw when the show came back was you had a response, because I love seeing you on Twitter. Let me say that. I feel like people don't really be on Twitter like that no more. But I have my little niche of people talking about reality TV, X, whatever. When the show started back, I saw you having a lot of fans about everybody saying, "Oh, Ashley's using you. Why would you with her?" So, can you explain that for the viewers watching this? Like, do you feel like Ashley used you in order to film? Because you mentioned relationships being important.
Nope, because me and Ashley weren't cool when we were filming over them 6 months. She'll tell you that. People have to understand, from October to December, me and Ashley were still going at it. We literally had a whole scene. She almost tried to fight me because I said she looked older than me. Literally.
Oh, no.
It happened. Like, literally, we were not good. And we didn't become good until production intervened at My Romancipation, which was filmed in December. That was actually the last scene we filmed before we went to Christmas break and came back to start filming in January. So no, she couldn't have been using me because we were still very much at odds still. And we weren't like hanging out. We were trying to get beyond still really having this weird tit for tat that we had. And it wasn't weird. We just didn't like each other. Like, I think it's weird for people to be like, as grown women, it's some people you just don't like. Okay. Like, we didn't like each other. Now getting to know each other outside of the show. And I credit Sherelle with that because she was friends with both of us. And she literally came outside of the show. This had nothing to do with filming, was like, y'all need to get the hell over this. I'm friends with both of y'all. I think y'all both dope. I really think y'all can get past it because y'all kind of similar for real. Y'all just different in the way that you do things. But in some ways, y'all have a lot of similarities. Y'all got to get over this because I'm not going to pick. That's how we really started being cool. It had nothing to do with the show because I didn't trust any of them, especially after that reunion. Y'all showed me that even as women, y'all didn't think enough about me as a woman to look at y'all husbands who was clowning and acting a darn fool to be like, now hold up. Yeah, you're doing too much. Sit down somewhere and stop it. You didn't do that. You got one sitting there looking like Star Trek, scared to say anything, and then one that was participating. So no, I was not good on the whole. That's how I felt. So no, she couldn't have used me because we weren't cool. Now, what I do feel like they did was because we were starting to be cool outside of the show. I know for a fact because I have messages between me and a producer. This is the type of stuff they like to do. Is she messaged me and said, "Hey, do you have any pictures of you and Ashley from y'all hanging out?" And I'm like, yeah. So I dropped a picture. I promise you, as soon as I pressed send, I said, God dang it. I should have asked why you need a photo. because that's an odd request. They put that photo in this season. They went back and edited because they had made it seem like it was me and the Silvas against the Tylers and the Pettys. And there's no way they could have done that with any of the footage they filmed during the season because me and Ashley wasn't close like that.
Mm.
So they utilized a trick play, an editing trick play, and inserted a new photo in an old situation. They cut out everything I said where I'm actually giving Ashley perspective with the Joy situation because me and Joy don't have an issue. They cut out context with the Yusha situation, making it seem like I'm mad because he defended Joy. I don't give about Joy. No, I'm looking at you because you know that your friend ain't guilty and you could have said something and you didn't. That's why I'm mad. I don't care about that. Joy ain't got nothing to do with me. But again, it's edited and it's how they wanted to create the narrative. Even so strategic as how we're seated at the reunion. It's us on one side and it's them on the other.
Yeah.
I stated at that reunion when they asked me, hey, Winter, where do you stand with the cast since this is your first season back and integrated as a main cast fixture? I said, I really don't feel that close with nobody on this cast. I don't know anybody like that. I still feel like an outsider. I don't feel like none of these people have my back for real. They cut it out. Actually, Sherelle cussed me out at dinner that night. She was like, why you sit there and say that? I'm your friend. Too bad. I said, you weren't out there. You're not main cast. They asked me how I felt about main cast. So that would include everybody. That's how I feel. That's my truth. I was honest. But they couldn't air that part because it goes against me looking like I'm against the Tylers and the Pettys, which is why I can move on from this show and be like, I wish them well. I'm going to go on by my business.
With you experiencing all the different edits and cuts and maneuvering of things around, would you do another reality show?
Not like this. Not like
What's your
this.
ideal show?
My ideal show, I actually wouldn't mind a Big Brother, a Traitors.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind a Survivor, although I probably wouldn't survive very long because I don't do outside and bugs. But Amazing Race, like those type of shows where there's some wholesomeness to it. Because this constant bickering, this maligning that occurs by way of castmates who don't mind the mess and will get in the mud and meddle in the mud, and you don't know who's friend or foe at any given time, because if I want to be the HBIC, I will absolutely throw your behind under the bus. Ain't nobody got time for that. That would be my ideal show. Or just completely go into the realm of put me on Food Network and HGTV and let me host some remodels and some kitchen fails. Like I don't like this type of reality TV.
I do think you have the personality for that.
I could definitely see that. That's some wholesomeness.
That's some wholesomeness. Like I'm more on the wholesome side. This now people get confused because I ain't with the mess. So if you get with me, I'm gonna get with you. So I think people are thrown off by my ability to be quick-witted and sassy, but that doesn't mean that I want to be in that environment all the time. I just don't. And what's the trade-off for real? How many followers have I gained since I've been on here?
Let us know.
Not that many.
Oh.
So, have you seen Love and Marriage Huntsville?
I have.
Okay. So, what do you think about people thinking that Martell didn't deserve jail or being arrested for the revenge porn situation?
I think that if my ex-husband tried to release a sex tape on me to the general public as retaliation, I would treat him like the criminal on the street that he acted like. People can say what you want. I'm not an avid watcher of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I have seen an episode or two. I have seen clips online. But you're talking about someone who has experienced a man having, not a man, their husband having a baby on them. I think even the consideration or the audacity to even pitch the side chick you produced a child with to come on a show that I created is some lame, foul, deep-rooted nastiness. This is how people get 20 to life for snapping. She's a much better woman than I am because we would have already been on the other side of some things. I might be an orange, but because I love my kids, I'm gonna exercise some restraint, but I'm also gonna drag your behind because that's a special type of love. So I don't care that people want, okay, he's a human being, I get it. But by the same token, you play silly games, you win silly prizes. And if you're willing to put my business out there because you want, and I think it was admitted to that he did it to be spiteful.
Somewhat.
Yeah. What does that mean?
You're doing that? No, bruh. We go, I'm just going to do what I need to do to protect myself. And people can feel how they feel. I really don't think the public's opinion matters because this is my real life for entertainment purpose. But that's not entertainment. You're talking about something we did in the privacy and the comfort of our own home. It should never see the light of day. We have kids, for God's sake, that could potentially see that if that were to be released. And then when I tell you the whole consideration of bringing that girl on that show, I was pissed on her behalf. She might not even been as mad as I was. But I'm like, seriously? I wish they would. That would
insanity.
Be like somebody, a producer trying to look up the woman who cheated with my ex and saying, hey, you want to come on the show? Y'all do not want that there. Y'all don't want that.
I almost said Married to Medicine, but she didn't cheat. That's the new wife. The new wife and the old wife on the same show.
I think that's messy.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's messy. I really do. I think it's messy and I think it's disrespectful. But I can definitely get over your new wife versus your side piece. I think that's a little bit more swallowable than your side piece being on this show.
Especially if your side piece seeks to destroy me as well. Like, come on.
Oh, what you mad for? What?
Right.
You came over here meddling. Nobody forced your legs open. Okay. Close your legs to married men. I don't have a very good, I just don't. And I know people make mistakes, but that's a choice. So no, get somebody else to do it. I pray that never happens. I'm signing up for the lead petition board if that ever happens. Like, I promise you, I'm running for president of the petition. Like, no, that's tacky. And I would hope that the network would never allow for that to happen.
I would not be surprised if they did. I mean, it sounds very, very messy over there. But you did talk about how you kind of looked at the show as a marketing budget. I know a lot of people come on these shows, they look at it as an opportunity or a platform to boost their business or, just get their name out there. So for some aspiring reality stars, would you recommend a Carlos King production to them?
Make sure your show is promoted. Because that is one of my reasonings for leaving. Like, it's got to make sense. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. You can't strip me of my ability to make a sufficient salary, but also strip me of my ability to promote my platform because you don't promote us. So I would just say make sure that it's worth it and that the maths. Because there are plenty of places you can go that actually give you the promotion that you're seeking. I have a friend now that's been on other networks and we got on reality TV at the same time. Her platform is quadruple mine from her time on reality TV. And hers wasn't even a multiple season type of deal. It was literally a one and done.
Is it like a Bravo?
I'm about to say, what was the network?
It's CBS.
Oh my.
So you're almost at 200. I'm still at a measly almost 40 something.
Let's talk about Yusha real quick. What happened with that situation and what did the people from Ready to Love say?
Well, to sum it up, because I don't believe he deserves a lot of airtime. Opportunistic,
Mm.
manipulative, and too much dirt. I was getting receipts for women on the streets that were telling me that he was for the streets. So
Wow.
say less. We only officially dated for 3 months. Like, we were exclusive for 3 months. We dated for 4. So it was a total of 4 months of my life. I learned what I needed to learn to move on to somebody else. Like, it's not that huge of a deal, which is why I didn't want to give him longer than 10 minutes at the reunion. It's literally just, it's a dating situation that didn't work out. All that to say, he did audition for Ready to Love, but I think it's important to clarify that audition, they saw his tape, didn't think he would be a good fit, and discarded his audition tape. The whole him being paired with Joy was something he made up. We found out that was not true. He watched Ready to Love and decided that Joy would have been a good match for him. And then decided to tell me that the producers told him that.
Okay.
A fan.
That's what he was giving the way he was going
Yes,
over.
it is. It was giving fan talk.
Definitely a fan.
At the reunion show, there was a moment where he was about to say something to Joy, but cut himself off. And I'm trying to remember what exactly he said, but it was something like, just like, "Oh, Joy, I love you," or something like that. And he cut himself off right before he finished his statement because Carlos was asking him a question, like, finish up what you want to say and promote your business. But I
Yeah.
really just wanted to ask you about that situation because it seemed just unclear of what was said by the Rated Love producers in comparison to, what he may have told you. Outside of, yeah, go ahead.
No. So the Ready to Love producers never said a thing. Joy wasn't even casted when they saw his. It's literally like somebody submitting a tape. We watch it. We don't like it. Moving on to the next. That's what happened.
But he told you that they told him that Joy and
Would
he
have
would
been
have matched,
absolutely.
as if
That's
he had a conversation with the producers,
uh-huh.
but he did not.
No. And I know this because we actually spoke to the producer that saw his tape. She was like, I could send a tape.
Okay. So speaking of that,
Yes.
what did y'all hear specifically about Clifton? Because it was mentioned at the reunion show, but it wasn't exactly expounded upon that Clifton, y'all had heard that he likes to antagonize women. Did y'all hear that as far as like an example?
No. So again, Ready to Love Potomac and Ready to Love DC, those castmates live in the area. We all mix and mingle at different events. So we were repeating what other castmates that were on his season that are women have said about him. That's what we were referring to. So I think people thought, oh, well, women are just backing up Ashley. No, I'm not. I'm friends with Dakia. I'm friends with, it's too many to name.
Oh no, what did Dakia say? Because we didn't like the way they treated Dakia when we was on that season.
Hated
Oh, she
it.
called her out on Twitter.
Yes,
I saw
because she
that.
said they were absolutely nasty to her.
Mm-hmm.
They were. They
And that
absolutely were.
reunion? Oh my God.
Yep.
That's why when you talked about Joy and talked about how Carmen's been seen out with Clifton, my immediate mindset went to how she did Dakia on that reunion. And the way she did her was foul. It was disgusting. And it was very much like, I won, I have the prize. But for me, I feel like for her to have that energy towards Dakia, I could also see her being okay with Clifton disrespecting her by, parading on about this
Carmen.
friendship. Yeah, with Carmen. I can see that kind of giving Cecil's best friend. Cecil and Simone from Married to Medicine.
Oh, the one
I
that she heavenly said didn't look good.
Oh, I would love
yeah.
to get into Dr. Heavenly if Winter wanted to expound upon her experience with Dr. Heavenly.
I say Dr. Heavenly is as she is. Like, I don't see any differentiation. She is who she presents and who people say she's who they think she is. Like, she was shady. She was
Okay, let me be messy. So the conversation we had before we came live, if you want to share just a tad bit about how Heavenly feels about Mel, because Heavenly makes it seem as if she is for Mel when she's on her YouTube and everything. So I'm just curious to know, like, what do you think about Heavenly and how she feels about Mel?
I don't know that that's the case. I don't know that that's the case. I didn't get that. I didn't get that from her at all.
Does she like Mel?
I don't know that it's alike because she doesn't know these people. She doesn't watch Love
Hmm.
Bears Huntsville. But I don't know that she necessarily supports Mel or agrees or likes Mel. I didn't get that at all. Not in her conversation with the other people on that show.
Well, what was her
And we know,
conversation?
and we know that they all feel some type of way about Mel. So if you're willing to get down in the mud with people who feel a way about a particular castmate, either you say, hey, like I like her, or this, that, and the other. But no, that you were talking and giving your 3 cents. So no, I don't think that's the case.
3 cents seems like a lot in
Mhm.
comparison
She
to 2.
talks a lot. She's very opinionated. Now,
Okay.
I don't feel like, y'all have to understand, there's a line that I feel everybody that's connected to Huntsville treads. Because them millimeters gonna come for your ass if you get too far out of pocket.
Good for
So
Mel.
you ain't never gonna hear
Go too
people
far.
directly come
So,
or
mm,
directly say, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I don't agree with this, because they are terrified that if they do, these people are going to come after them.
so do you
But
remember or want to share anything specifically that you heard Dr. Heavenly say that would showcase her disdain for Melody?
no, I don't. I literally, I'm like, I'm trying to think of a specific, but I'm like, I'm very big on not lying. So I will refrain from trying to remember and piece together, because people watch y'all's review,
Yes,
and
they
there's always going to be a rebuttal if they think that what I say will put them in danger of the millimeters coming for them. Although I don't think the millimeters are
In
stupid.
danger.
yeah.
Okay, listen, they don't. I think y'all have to understand, one of the things that Mel has done a very good job of is building her fan base.
Oh
And they
yeah.
don't play about her. So whether people feel a way about her or not, they're not going to ever going to come directly out and say that. But I'm true to who I am, and I'm not going to put people out there, especially when what I should have done was recorded, but I didn't. And it's cool because people will try to finagle their way out of that because they don't want to deal with Mel. So I'll let it slide. But I will just say my opinion is that I don't think it's honky dory.
Okay.
Mhm.
Clear on that. So what is your new situation like? Because I know you have moved on like Maya from Yusha and are in a new relationship. How has that been working out for you?
It's amazing, actually. He's good. We've been together for, oh gosh, almost 13 months. So we
What?
well over a year. Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things. Like, Yusha and I were already on the decline when we left that cash trip mid-February.
Mhm.
So, sometimes you go back and forth with that person, but you already know it's on the decline. But
Mhm.
I didn't want to break up with Yusha on camera because I saw that if I did, they would try to make a whole thing out of it. And I didn't want to deal with, who wants to deal with somebody you don't want to deal with? So I'm not going to make it a big issue. I'm going to wrap up filming and then I'm going to cut you loose. That's what I did. So we wrapped up filming. I cut him loose. But the guy actually ended up reaching out shortly after I cut him loose. And he asked me out on a date. I'm single. Why not? It just happened to work out. So we've been together since. Much better fit. He's older, more established, not too much older. He's only 5 years older than me. So
Okay.
but yeah, he's
You
good.
know what we're gonna ask next, right?
What's next?
You know what we're gonna ask next. So 13 months just cuddling, or 13
Oh,
months have you
hell no. Okay. So yes. Okay, so y'all know that I did not sleep with Yusha.
right?
We were abstinent. I was never going to sleep with him. It just wasn't going to happen. And I think women kind of know a man who could get it and a man who ain't going to get it.
Mhm.
He just couldn't have got it for a number of reasons. And I just feel like, have some standards about your pee.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are just not going to get it. Anywho, moving onward. Oh, y'all have to see what I seen. And yeah, it's good.
Based on that smile,
She said it's good too.
It's
based
amazing.
on that smile,
I
I
know
love it
that's
for
right.
you.
So I'm very particular. Anyone who knows me knows that I don't just walk around here throwing the pee around. That's not my thing. I've been raised not to have sex before marriage. However, I am a grown woman and I am very much pro your grown womanness. And if you're going to decide to, let it be your own decision, not because you're in your head about what you've been raised or taught to believe. And I'm very much in a freedom phase, even when it comes to religion. I'm definitely not as strict as I used to be, because what people don't understand is that I was a minister going into Love and Marriage DC, and being on the show allowed for me to see religious people for who they are. A lot of people quit fooling with me because they don't believe that Christians should be on reality TV. And I'm like, that don't even make good sense, but okay. So that kind of opened my eyes up. And from that point forward, I have my own relationship with God. I don't fool with religious folks. Y'all do what y'all do. A lot of the things y'all believe are contradictions anyway. And you can't argue them appropriately. So Winter has grown up a lot in a lot of ways, but I also allow myself the freedom to be a woman. And yeah, I mean, it went down and it's been going down and it's great. But we are in a loving, healthy, committed relationship. Like, and even if I wasn't, it's still nobody's business. But yes, the girl is having lots of fun at this age.
Well, we're happy that you're having lots of fun.
I love
Yes,
it.
we're going to continue having fun. I mean, it's just sometimes I feel like you go through a lot, but eventually you finally find like the right person. It took a long time and a lot of lessons, but we finally rounded up a good one. So we're good.
Yeah. So I watched, this is on a different note. Not such a smiley note, okay?
Oh
Hate to do
Lord.
this.
Oh Lord. Okay.
I watched your interview with Queen Sheba, and it seemed like you dropped a lot of tea. You're being very real, like you always are. Um, it was very clear that you didn't, in my opinion, fool with Carlos too much.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, have you heard from him since the interview with Queen Sheba?
No, I haven't heard from him. I do know that there was shade thrown at me at the podcast, which I expect. Which I think honestly is, in my opinion, a coward's way out, because you know how to reach me. Your team has my information. Even if you don't have it, you know how to reach me in the DM. And if you value me as a cast member who has shared not anything that was throwing shade at you, I actually spoke to some very serious issues. As my former employer, I think if you cared and you really did support women and you promoted women and you backed women and you were pro their safety and mental health, then you would reach out and say, hey, I saw your interview, or I heard about your interview, and I'm sorry you experienced that. Or I did not know that it impacted you the way that it impacted you. That situation, season 1, what I will give Ashley credit for, she was a part of that berating and that 2 or 3 hour trek where they were going at me with no intervening.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know she saw that interview and she literally FaceTimed me and was like, I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't know. That's how you felt after you left there. To me, that's taking ownership. You may not agree that it was that bad. You may not have known it was that bad. But if you know that you participated in any way, as a human being, I would think that she's the only person I heard from.
After,
Integrity.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I kind of saw it for Ashley this season. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I saw Ashley on social media, it seemed to me like she was doing a lot of proactive, like, defense. Like this season was gonna be horrible on her part. And when I watched the season, I didn't get that. I didn't think she looked that bad.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I
I
think
actually liked her more and wanted to interview her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was very taken back by what we saw prior to going into the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think quite naturally, and I felt I can relate. I didn't go as hard because to me, you can't change it once it's done. That's my opinion. So I think for her, seeing you depicted in a way that you know is contrary to some things that actually went down, and it's edited to be, she was just pissed because it's like, dang, I didn't realize they did me like that.
Mm.
So from that point forward, I do think she went hard with trying to be proactive with putting it out there like, oh gosh. But she just knew that the audience at large, she would catch a lot of heat from, and she did. And
She
and
did.
you have to think too, there were castmates also rallying the troops to be against her as well. So it heightened people being against her as well. But I said this at reunion, and I stand by it to this day. Hater or lover, she is the most consistent with who she is. She's emotional at times. She's reactive at times. She's funny at times. She can even have bully behavior at times, but she's consistent. Everybody else, no, they're not. They're not consistent. People can even say I'm not consistent. And if you base my season 1 versus my season 2, 2A, 2B, 3, whatever, I'm very different because I don't want to give them anything. So they had to really scramble with my character this season because I didn't engage when I could have. It's so many times I want to pop off. I was just like, I just want to do my time, finish my contract, and I'm done.
So that was your plan the whole time?
I
To be
told them
done after
going
this?
in. This is why I'm looking at people like, oh, Winter that messed up her bag. Winter gave up that bag when I started filming. They knew I wasn't coming back. They had that announced. They had this information before the season ever started airing. I told them I'm not coming back. Oh, well, we'll revisit. Now, they probably ain't going to revisit no more because I done did Queen Sheba. But it's okay. I don't want to revisit it. But yeah, I wasn't coming back. I didn't want it. I knew after season 1, I'm like, oh, this is not for me. It's not for me. We'll see what it's given as far as promotion a second time around. But y'all shelved us for dang near a year. There ain't no way we can utilize anything really for promotion off some old episodes. Just don't make
So
sense.
you're not still tied in the contract, are you? You said some things were unfinished, so you're not still locked in, right?
So my contract is done. As soon as the reunion wrapped, our contract ends. Now, what happens though is that we have a exclusivity clause that locks us from going forward for a year. So I can't pursue any other opportunities within the bounds of that contract. There are some things I can't discuss because I signed that I wouldn't discuss it. So there's things that I have to tiptoe around. Like, for instance, the actual pay, I can't give a number because we signed that we won't ever tell what that is. But other than that, no, I was done when the reunion aired. So my year clock started as soon as that reunion dropped.
And throughout your time being a reality star, and now that it's coming to an end, at least for Love and Marriage DC, what would you say that you learned about yourself?
Whew, what did I learn about myself? Oh gosh, I feel like that's the greatest gift this experience has given me because I feel like I learned a lot about myself. I learned about how much my religious conditioning impacted a lot of my choices. I learned that I'm actually a lot funnier than I give myself credit for without intentionally trying to be funny. So I feel like you're kind of funny. Like, I feel like I've always thought I was funny, but no, you're actually really kind of funny. Ooh, child, in the realm of love, I have learned that Winter has propensity to rush. So that slowing down has been a huge lesson for me. I also feel like I give people the benefit of the doubt and I trust a lot of the wrong people. And I say that because when I reflect on season 1 and how I got thrown under the bus, I literally didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming. So it's just, I have learned that I've really grown and I've evolved. Like, I was green. I mean, green as grass. As old as I was at this big old age of 40, something years old, I was green. And reality TV grew me up. And it also gave me a look into the world where it's like, everybody's not your friend. Everybody doesn't want you to win. Some people will intentionally try to leverage your goodness and your greatness for their own benefit. but also keep you blinded to it, so you don't leave, or you don't. It's just
So
I've
you know your
learned.
own power.
Correct. You don't own it. You don't live in it. I've never needed this show.
Mm.
But without doing the show, I wouldn't have known that.
I love that.
Yeah.
So the last question is about Carlos' tour. Now, I had no idea that people were still touring at this time, but apparently on Mother's Day, something went down that you were abreast of. Do you mind sharing the details?
So something went down that I was abreast. I'm like, Chad, we talked about a lot. So he did the podcast tour was in DC.
Mhm.
I was told that it was a small audience. It was at the Howard Theater. I think the Howard Theater seats about 15 to 2,500 people. That's what I know it to seat. It's a huge theater. It's not small. I think they had like 100 people there. I know the tickets were sold out, but it was tickets for like 100. It wasn't that big of a crowd. The whole top apparently was empty. That's how big it is. A big theater. Apparently the cast made up. Everybody is on good terms now. Everybody has kissed and made up. I do know that the crowd was viewed as rowdy, and I was told that it was a rowdy and ghetto crowd. Somebody urinated on themselves in the crowd. But
Oh my.
You know, that's because all them older ladies be there. You know what I'm saying? Like you laugh too hard. Like, you know, you laugh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming
I don't
somebody's
know.
grandmama was in there doing the most and just lost control of their bladder. That's what I'm assuming.
They said it was a rowdy crowd yelling and booing and
Oh
screaming.
no.
Who are
Oh,
they
yeah.
booing?
They were booing anytime Carmen's name was mentioned, and they were booing Ashley.
So they
I
like
mean, they
boys.
do seem rowdy
They only
based
like
on the
Joy.
clips we saw. You said they only like who, Jamie?
Oh no, I was piggybacking off of Bondy. They only like Joy because they haven't seen Ready to Love.
That's what I think. 'Cause
Right. I think the
listen,
same thing.
anybody that actually watched that show, like Carmen, Clifton, and Joy were not likable. Joy was an extreme pick me that wanted so desperately to be picked by this man who honestly, I feel like she gave an ultimatum to choose her. They end up getting married, but he keeps his second and then acts as if she was never really his second, but she's his second now. So yeah, and then you're made to feel bad about it. I mean, that whole thing at the reunion show with her saying that she felt like he did not choose her. He consistently lets it be known he's still going to continue to have a friendship and a relationship with Carmen, and he's not going to hold her accountable for how she's treated Joy. And to me, that's enough to leave a marriage. Like you need to just go
I
ahead and
agree.
be single or be with her. But if you don't feel like I deserve protecting in this, then I shouldn't be with you. But she stayed, and I think it's because everybody wants to be on a reality show. Like
And
at
be the
first,
winner. That's
yeah,
what that was about with Dakia to me. And what did you say, Winter? You said to Yusha, if I'm gonna something by myself, I'm gonna be by myself.
Oh, if I'm gonna feel by myself, I'm gonna be by myself.
Okay, exactly. She felt
That don't
like
make good
herself.
sense. Yeah, that doesn't make good sense.
she kept her hand on him the whole reunion show, and he never extended that same physicality to her, not once. And that's a huge sign to me because that's just a natural thing. If you care about somebody, you're going to like touch them or try to soothe them at some point if something is uncomfortable. And he didn't even give a Stevie J, wipe of the sweat on the nose. He didn't give nothing. Y'all
No.
remember when Stevie J used to be
I know
always
what you're talking about. He wiped Jocelyn's sweat, and
Yeah.
Mimi was like, "Did you just?"
Yes. Some
And
look.
I think
I'm
he
hollering.
still follows her online. And
Oh,
she
I'm
said
sure.
Carmen said herself, he still is in her stories. Yeah.
I mean, they're still friends, obviously.
Yeah,
Are they
but
pretending like they're not friends now for Joy's benefit? Because that's
from what Carmen has told me, and this is out of Carmen's mouth, that she doesn't talk to him anymore.
Okay.
I don't know that I believe that. I'm gonna be
I
honest.
wouldn't either.
And Carmen, if you watching, which I'm sure you will, because you watch all the bloggers, I don't believe that they don't talk.
I know
I
she
don't
watched the
believe it.
bloggers.
I mean, she
No, go
follows
ahead.
me, so
She follows everybody. She
Oh,
follows all the bloggers and reaches out to them for an interview.
Well, she
Mm.
stopped wearing the blue
Oh,
contacts. I think she switched to green, and then she also stopped wearing the beauty spot store necklaces, the
Oh
ones with
my.
the words. Do you remember the ones she used to wear already? The love.
I
Whatever.
I feel like I advocated the most for Carmen and tried to be very neutral and go hard for her because they were on her tail while we were filming. They did not like her. They thought she was an opportunist as well, trying to weasel her way on the show. But the way that she cut up with this whole preacher situation, I'm like, okay, I see you. So you
Mm.
really are who they say you are.
so
You
wait a
you
minute. How
you
did
get everything.
Carmen react to the preacher situation?
It was at her event. All this happened at her event, and she had personal conversations with him.
So she set up for the preacher to be at her event so that you guys would interact with him so he can put Arena on blast, correct?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm just saying she knows that what he said. And
Mm.
she knows that he wasn't honest when he talked to Jamie.
Mm-mm.
But when
And
she
then
was
turned
confronted,
around.
she said she didn't get involved. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm right, but Winter can't
You
confirm or
said
deny. But that sounds like a setup if I've ever seen or heard one. And especially the way she was implanting herself into you guys' season. It definitely feels like she wanted to create an event where, some mess could happen at her event. That's
She should have committed. The way
well,
she committed to be involved in a relationship and
well,
being a part of the show.
she didn't commit. So when I see people move like that, it's like, okay. Because this is bigger than you trying to be on a show. You had the opportunity to stand up and be truthful and tell the truth.
it's giving
And
snake.
you and and you opted to save your tail.
Like Carmen, I don't care if you're a snake. I don't, girl. But it's giving snake. But a lot of people on reality shows give snake, so that's okay. Sunny
Yeah.
Moses.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And that, I mean, if you even look at it with some of the swapping and positioning on this show, I don't think that under normal circumstances that Arena would have had all that heat for Ashley. But
Mm,
it's
That was
positioning.
crazy.
she was
That
doing
was
a lot.
that was every that was every phrase from a Real Housewives reunion that I had ever seen come out of her mouth. Oh,
Really?
not even Real Housewives. It
When
was
she
also
said, "Get a
Basketball
man,"
Wives.
when she said "get a man," I almost passed out. I said, "Girl, really?"
She said, "Get a man." She said, "You are a
Mm.
non-motherfucking factor." She said,
She
it was
brought
like
out. She brought out
several
a
things.
prop. She had a prop. I was like, "Bitch, not a prop."
Did
It
she?
was several things that
Yes,
Arena did, and
she
I
had to be. She had to be in
cringed.
front. Remember, she came out
Oh,
with.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, yes, 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 yes.
And I'm
Yes.
like, girl, stop. Because we know you don't know how to be a friend. Because listen, I know wives like her and they can't be a friend because their husband won't let them.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where you cannot be in an environment where you want to be real and show your real life and everybody else is pretending and playing the game.
Well, do
No.
we have any more questions, ladies, for Winter? Because I
Who
feel like,
pretending and playing?
Huh?
The Tylers? You saying the Tylers are pretending and playing?
Oh, absolutely. I literally said they reality TV.
Mm.
And
so
I think where they got confused with me is they didn't realize I wasn't reality TVing. So everything I do, they respond with the reality TV response. Oh, let's leverage because again, TikTok about to get shut down. So they got to figure out another source. So let's blow up the situation with Winter and go live on YouTube so we can grow our YouTube following because TikTok about to go down. We need another source. So let's go on over to YouTube.
oh
And that's what
wow.
Ashley kept saying to her, which was, "This is not reality TV for us. This is real life."
So yes, I will say to Ashley's credit, she does show up real. And it's hard when people are reality TVing. So I'm not reality TVing. So when I say what I say, I'm being for real. I don't
Okay,
have time to play these games.
so real quick before we go. At the reunion show, it seemed like Ashley and Quick were like going back and forth with Clifton.
Okay. Yes.
What were we missing from that moment when it came to the editing? Because I feel like in the editing, it kind of seemed like, yes, Clifton said something smart, but it also seemed as if Quick was willing to pump fake or do the most front, what I'm going to do to you. When Jamie was like, why would you threaten him on national television? That thing came to mind as well. So can you tell us what we were missing from that situation?
You're missing that clip that Clifton really did try to antagonize Quick, and that was not fake. They cut out a lot. We actually had to have security come on there. They were getting ready to get into a full-blown real fight.
Oh, wow.
Carlos
like it.
actually said, because Ashley went off, she was like, Carlos, this is what I'm talking about. They're over here playing and acting like it's reality TV, and you gonna get them effed up in real life. And Carlos was like, calm down. I see the cap, Ashley. I see the cap. I see
How
the
did I
cap.
see the cap? So that means he see that Joy and Clifton are fake.
That's what he said. This is out his mouth.
I see the cap.
Whoa.
He kept saying that. So when we're getting escorted off, because we had to take an intermission because this was really about to be a fight. I looked at Jamie and Arena and I said, if that's y'all friend, I said, y'all need to check them because that's not cool. Nobody come here for all that. What are we doing? So it was actually a real altercation that wasn't manufactured. Now they had to, again, it's like they did season 1. They messed with the editing to dial things back, to remove the intensity, to give a little, but not the real of what it was. But Clifton legitimately came out there and was like, what's up? And went in. Like he would not stop.
You're ready to throw his back out.
He tried to.
I hate that.
brush it off.
I hate that because when I think about it, he was quiet and I didn't even like his body language when Joy had to defend herself against Carmen. Like just this dejected, I'm not even here. But when it came time to get into it with a man who he thought was going to punk out because he was smaller than him, then it's a different situation.
Right.
Now you all buck.
So, and this is the thing, and people forget, Quick is really from the streets. So he responded.
I believe it.
Yes, he responded like a dude on the street would, but he wasn't saying that for no show. We have surpassed. We in real life. We real time.
He forgot the cameras were there.
Correct. You can sit here and pretend for these cameras, but you about to get effed up in real life, and we not doing no care. So he's being calmed down from a real situation. People think it's TV, but it was not TV. No.
Yeah, I could tell.
It was clear to me.
No,
right. Me too. Yeah, I could tell it wasn't. Clifton plugged in for that.
Clifton was the only one that I could feel you are responding to Quick because the cameras are there, because security is there. Because I believe Quick, when Quick was backstage and was like, I've seen him out on the street and he has not said anything. I believe him.
Yes. And it's true. You don't get any of this heat outside of it. You just don't. The only person who is likely to approach someone is Jamie. Jamie would try to approach someone and not fight them, but try to
intag or like, because he's a cop. So he feels
right.
Like
that's what I'm thinking.
On his side. So he could walk up to you and try to punk you just on the fact that if we get into it, the police are gonna come, but they're gonna be on my side.
Right.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes. He's the
everything ain't worth running up on, Jamie. Everything's not worth the run up.
But he's the only one that would do something like that. This is the people don't understand. Like when I say there are people literally being real and people literally pretending, this is why Ashley came at Arena. They had just filmed RHOP and Arena hugged Ashley. But when we show up at reunion, now you got all this smoke and you coming for me and saying I'm a bad mom. It don't matter. The math ain't math.
It didn't make sense.
It did not.
It didn't make sense to me.
We were all like, why is Arena coming at Ashley like this? Like, what happened?
We were confused. When I say we said, I was like, what is going on? What is going on? But then you see the producer over there get with their little flash digital cue cards. Because that's
so they do have notes.
That's what
they do have reading notes.
Yes.
Oh my.
So they have like, ooh.
No, talk about it, please.
Show it.
So this is what they do in scene. You can be like, hey, Jamie. Hey, Niecy. How y'all doing today? Y'all have a good weekend? Yeah, we had a good weekend. A producer will come up and be like, ask Jamie if that was her husband with that other woman the other night.
Oh, they be messy like that.
Oh, yeah. I could guess that. Because it's so many times I feel like people are having conversations they don't want to have.
Oh, absolutely. If I really have gotten in, do y'all know how many conversations or scenes, because it's a job, we get a call sheet. Y'all know how many scenes I have gotten that I didn't know who was going to show up? And if I had known who was showing up, I wouldn't have went to, because I don't really don't F with them for real. Seriously. So yes, this is what they do. So when it's like when you see certain responses, those responses are real time because it's not scripted. So sometimes you're literally seeing people make a decision. As I'll give you another great scenario. Oh Lord, I ain't never said this, but this true story. This actually happened. So y'all know the situation between Joy and Black, and how Joy didn't mess with Black.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Producers being messy. One of the producers literally was like, "So what do you think about the whole Joy and Black situation?" And I was like, "I don't know. I wasn't around. I don't care." She was like, "Yeah, but really, like, why do you think Joy has all this heat? Do you think, you would have a conversation with Sherelle and talk to her, like, as a woman, does she feel like something else went on between Black and Joy?"
I could see that.
What do you think?
Not I could see that. I could see someone asking you that.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of emotion that's going on between Joy and Black.
Correct. That they don't feel is normal for someone that is having this heat on behalf of a friend, right? Or they don't feel like it's really that deep with the band. It's got to be something else. Do you feel like you would have a conversation with Sherelle to see, as a wife, if she want to ask Black some deeper questions? In that moment, as a person, I'm having to decide, am I going to put on my reality TV snake hat and be like, "Yeah, set it up. I'll have a conversation." Or am I going to be a real friend and call Sherelle and be like, "Girl, guess what they asked me to ask you?" Which I actually chose to be a real friend and tell Sherelle, and Sherelle called them and went the hell off and cussed them the F out and said, "Don't you ever put my husband in a position like that." That's reality. That's manufactured reality TV, but that's the type of stuff we deal with on a daily basis. We'll even go back to reunion season 1. People love to say that I came for their marriages, but people don't realize, if you go back to the reunion, I never brought up anything about their marriages. Carlos asked me, "Do you have receipts?" The reason why I didn't show the receipts that were clipped to the bottom of my dress, because when he asked me and how he asked me, it made me think. Those receipts didn't come to me until I was in LA to film that reunion. I got emailed receipts. I got DM receipts.
They're trying to set you up to be the bad guy. So if somebody sent you any dirt on these people that are treating you like shit, you would then say, "Hey, I got receipts on y'all that will prove da 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 da." And then Carlos, knowing that you got these receipts because he probably set it up somehow, would be able to make you look even worse for putting those receipts out that may or may not be real.
So Winter made a decision in that seat when I realized what the hell was going on, that them receipts would never see the light of day. Because at that point, I can't trust the source. So I'll take the L.
It definitely reminds me of how Love and Marriage Huntsville has played out over the years, with very snaky like things going on with producers, with Carlos, with the cast. Excuse me. It's a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. So when I tell that, yeah, nobody's gonna like it. You got some of my cast, like, I wish Winter would quit talking about her former castmates. What? Because I'm exposing that y'all faking some of the time. I'm not saying all of it's fake. There's obviously some real things that occur and happen, but there is a lot of fake manufactured stuff, and there's a lot of meddling for the sake of drama, and it just depends on who's willing to go the distance. I think Arena was certainly that person this season. She was willing to do the mess. She was willing to be the person that was, I consider Arena an outlier of a sorts, but the person being the messiest, going between people. If you notice, she was the bone carrier this season in a lot of situations.
I mean, to be clear, if we're basing, and Ashley, you can be mad at this if you want to, but you and Arena did the same thing. If y'all are telling me y'all made up at this tour with Carlos, it's telling me that y'all desperately want to make sure that this show comes back for another season, because y'all want to leave these men if you need to leave these men, and y'all both are financially dependent upon those men. So the reality show being successful means that we're going to be able to make our money so that if we want to leave, we can leave. Because Ashley was already saying she wanted to leave quick, but we're going to act like that didn't happen.
You're right.
Ashley
She did
said
say
she'll
that.
be straight. She leave quick. She said she'll be good financially.
But then again, why go back on the show where you've already said you're not going to go back because of how they mistreat you, but you go and make up with Arena and go on this tour? It makes me feel like there's something to be said for that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like the relationship with the show.
I would say spotlight and attention, because
I was gonna say
Winner
that.
already told us the check ain't giving what it is. Quick can go do that and make probably 3 times that amount in one night.
He
Oh,
sure
yeah.
Right.
can.
Hand it all over
But
to
let's not
Ashley.
forget, she got her book. Ashley got her book, and anything Ashley has going on can be sold through the show. I think that's the value
Correct.
that Ashley sees in the show,
Mhm.
sure.
Yep.
So that, if I'm on the show, then the longer I'm on the show, the more I can sell things and
And make a name
make
outside
a
of
name
just
for
my
myself.
husband.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she mentioned after the first season, remember she was looked at for Potomac. So I think she does like being in the spotlight. I think this is something she would want to do as a career.
Oh, I know
Honestly,
she does. She does definitely want the whole
don't make
reality
me think
TV.
about it. Because I think she would be a great switch up on Potomac because everybody else is
Amazing.
fake and not gonna give what she's gonna give. I think if she went on there, she wouldn't be kissing no Giselle ass.
She would
No.
definitely be the new Candace. She would
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
definitely.
Get her on the show
She
right
would
now.
have to. She would have to learn to just dial back on that Twitter as far as having to respond to everything. Because Candace may say some stuff, but Candace not going to respond to everything. Ashley will get over there and feel the need to respond to everything. It's like, Ashley, you're gonna be sitting here all night for real, for real.
Well, they
Me and
locked
Tanya
them
have that in
down.
common.
They locked them down contractually on Bravo. Like there's only so much you can do on Twitter under contract. That's why there's a lot of perimeters that they have over there.
Ashley, listen, if you can get on Potomac, girl, do it. I'll watch if you go.
She tried. They said that she didn't have enough money.
I remember
was
saying that, but they got Robin on the show.
That's what she said. That's exactly what she said.
I know you're lying.
I'm gonna tell you what
so
it is.
serious.
Ashley's
That's
not
what she
white
said.
enough.
They told him.
Ashley's not white enough. As a
Ashley-
personality, I feel like Ashley is not white enough.
Ashley ain't even got no money. It's all Michael's.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
I'm talking about Darby.
Yeah,
So
Ashley's
I'm like,
Darby.
That's
why
true.
is it? She
But I'm
can't
saying
even.
Ashley
That's
Silver
crazy.
doesn't present as white enough in the way she acts, the way the rest of those women act on Potomac. Even Candace has a certain level of decorum about herself that comes from affluence in the North. Yeah, Ashley doesn't give that. So I feel like that's probably what they're really talking about, but that's the only way they show might actually get some more viewership because this stale shit they're giving us with these, old heads. Like, I don't like it. Try again.
She did
That's
try. That's what
crazy.
she was told. And she was like, that was my response. She was like, wait a minute. Now you got, I said, girl, but then this opportunity, because she auditioned for Bad Girls.
What?
Yeah.
This had to
Bad
be
Girls
years ago.
Club or a bad what?
Bad Girls Club.
When?
Before she got married or when she
Had
got
to be.
married?
A while ago. I'm not sure, but that's where
The
she
show hasn't been on in years. So I would hope. I mean, she
Yeah.
been with Quick since they were in high school or college or something. Well, not college.
I
but
could
they
really
did.
see Ashley back in the day on that show.
she
I'm
would be
glad
great.
you didn't make it though, Ashley, because
It
I
would
was
have
just
been.
about
I
to
don't
say
want to
that.
see you that way. You'll
You
be
would
up there
have
on baddies trying to survive, fighting to live every day. Who does?
the hair. No, for real. The hair and the dresses would not give the same. It would not. You would be cheap and down to the shin like the rest of us, and it wouldn't be a good look for you. So I think that I think that Potomac has it wrong, and that's probably why their show isn't doing well. Whoever's producing them is not that smart. I'll say
Ask
that.
Ashley if she would be willing to live in Atlanta for 2 months to film Real Housewives of Atlanta. At
They
least,
need
and then
somebody
go back.
too. They
We
need
need to ask
somebody
Ashley
too.
ourselves. Tell Ashley to come on to
You
Ladies
know
First.
what?
Bill.
If she was open to it, I would be more than happy to have her
Yeah.
on LP. Okay, one of y'all do it next because I'm tired. But
Come on.
but please come on, Ashley. Because listen, I heard you talking about how real you are. I want to see.
She is.
She gonna show it.
She's
She be
herself.
so-
I think whew, that exterior, that Baltimore, it was a lot coming from Arkansas. We just, me and her just butted heads. And I mean, we still do. People think just because we're cool now that we don't know. I mean, she was mad at something I said and we went back and forth on that. Like, I'm always going to winter. She's always going to be herself, huh?
She's a bully low key. Like, she want people to kiss her ring and all that. I don't think that she like a bad person or anything. And I do think she's like a real person, but she does want everybody she's friends with to fall in some line. And it's like when she said that head bitch in charge thing, you was like, no, we're all grown. I was like, yeah, like, bitch, we in our like 30s and 40s. The fuck is you talking about, head bitch in charge? That time has passed.
Yeah, and I'm just not. I think what everybody has learned about winter is that winter skips to the beat of her own drum. I refuse at this big old. I'm 42 years old with 4 kids. I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do. I feel that way when it comes to this show. You could offer me $1.5 million. I have made a decision that I am like decided on. I have made a decision to be decided on not being attached to this show. I even saw somebody that was like, Winter done gave up her bag and Ashley going back to the show. I don't live my life on what Ashley does. If she goes back, kudos to her. That's her decision. I'm still not going back. And you're right. The bag ain't bagging. So what are we bagging?
Okay. And you already all right. So you don't need it.
I think people forget that too. Like, okay, I don't think people get it, but I'm good. It's fine. It's just like I said, I don't have a disdain for reality TV. I don't like this type of reality TV, but there is a fit for me in which I will thrive. But this ain't it. And these people aren't my friends.
I understand that.
I'm not saying that you don't. I think there are some casts that have learned to coexist even if they hate each other. But there still has to be a level of camaraderie and cordialness for a show to work.
Or just mutual respect. My God.
Right. And when you allow for some of the men to behave and they just don't have a respect for women and they can bees and hose women like women, I don't want to be a part of that either. You lack common decency. And I don't want to align with the likes of lack of common decency. So I'm good on it. Like, there's something else out there for me, but this ain't it. Y'all can have it.
No, I know that there is. You have a very infectious personality, and not like I'm somebody or something, but I really like you, and I think that your personality will be good anywhere you go.
Absolutely.
So I agree. At the end of the day, this was just like a introduction for people to know you and get to see you who may not have. But I feel like you've always shown up as yourself and as honest as you can be in these situations. And I've appreciated you for that. And I thank you so much for blessing our panel with your honesty. And, under no longer contractual obligation, we appreciate it.
Delivered.
Blessing y'all and upsetting others because...
Listen.
Yeah.
Y'all know.
And that's how I be sometimes.
Oh, well, it is what it is.
Okay.
When they pay my rent, then maybe we'll change.
Okay. Send me some money and I'll care. Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. I've never been that way. I just can't be bought. Never gonna be able to be bought. So,
Any more questions, ladies?
No.
We're good.
I think that's it.
Well, thank you so much, Winter, for joining us. I appreciate you taking out this time with us. And again, happy Mother's Day. And I hope to see you again on my TV someday and all continued success for you.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have always supported me, and I appreciate it. Much love and respect. Happy Mother's Day to the new moms. Well, Jamie, I know that's new, but new enough. But happy Mother's
thank
Day.
you.
Bondy, love you. I love all y'all. Y'all have all just been, I always plug every now and then. I know people winter friends with everybody. Maybe so, but it's some people that hold a special place in my heart. And yeah, y'all are definitely those people for me. So I appreciate y'all. Some of the first bloggers that actually gave me a chance when I was just a friend of the show. So that
Yeah.
means a lot.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's what's up.
All right. Well,
Love that.
follow Winter on at I'm Simply Winter on Instagram and Twitter because she tweets about
Mhm.
shows. Okay. And
And
follow
you too, Winter
and-
Womanland, make sure you subscribe because that's where I will be
yes.
living my life while I'm getting away from under this clause.
I'm trying to see the boyfriend.
Listen,
I'm trying to see the boyfriend on a YouTube channel. I just want to bask in this happiness for
Not
13 months.
boyfriend tag.
Oh gosh.
13 months?
Yes. So what I will say is that if you are an Icy Insider, which means if you are a channel member, you will actually see him.
okay, come on now.
Okay.
I love that.
We drop him and we sprinkle him and we show him behind the wall.
I know
Yo.
that's right.
I know that's right.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what's
how we
up.
do that because again, he's not public. And although he's very supportive of everything that I do, he's had his time in the spotlight. He actually used to be a member of a Christian boy band that was very popular.
A Christian.
Boy band.
Yes.
Boy,
Yes.
Sam.
That was his thing back in the day. He's a musician by talent. So he's like one of his best friends. Like he has produced for everybody, but he's really cool with Tank. But he knows him as Darrell. Like
Okay.
their dads were pastors. So
Okay.
that's his foundation. So that's how we connect. Like we are like the same person. He's
With
just
the
a boy,
music.
I'm a girl, but
Right.
he's had his time in the spotlight and he's a businessman now. So because he has like legitimate business and businesses, he would never do reality TV, not this kind anyway, specifically, but he's around. We are out in these streets. People run up on us all the time as a part. Actually, we went to church Sunday and people watched the show. They was like, wait a minute. I'm like, yeah, that's him. That's who I was referring to on the reunion. But he's out. We're private, not secret. So yeah. But go ahead and become an Icy Insider. You get all the tea.
All right.
Mm.
Well, thank you so much again. We appreciate you. And I'm sure we will be talking to you again at some point.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you
right.
so much for coming on, Winsor. We appreciate you. Bye.
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 Y'all make sure y'all follow the Ooh Ladies First panel at Jamie, that's me, at BondyBlue, at Niecy Dixon. And if you would like for us to read some of your mess on our show, please send us an email at oohladiesfirstpanel@gmail.com. Like the video, support all of our channels, and we will see you guys in the next one.